This chart shows what looks like an economic miracle. Poverty rates rapidly dropping, while school enrollment and healthcare access shoot straight up. But looking underground reveals how this growth is financed. Massive red columns represent skyrocketing foreign debt and unsustainable depletion of natural resources. A state-of-the-art hospital might open its doors, but the surrounding land is stripped bare and exported in its rawest form. The nation hits its short-term development goals, but its actual autonomy goes into freefall. This is the illusion of progress. A society reports better human outcomes on paper while actively hollowing out the very foundations required to keep those outcomes alive. Prioritizing human well-being over raw production reveals forms of deprivation that GDP was never designed to see. But tracking these improvements while liquidating the assets that fund them creates a dangerous strategic vacuum. For decades, conventional economics treated national success as a matter of pure output. A country could report explosive economic growth, while its actual citizens suffered from failing health systems, terrible schools, and deep inequality. That glaring flaw led to a major correction, heavily influenced by thinkers like Amartya Sen. The goal of development shifted toward humanomics and capability theory, the idea that an economy should be built to expand human dignity, freedom, and real opportunity. Global institutions quickly adapted. They built comprehensive well-being dashboards and multidimensional poverty indexes to track the lived experience of citizens instead of just counting their money. This data allows policymakers to see forms of deprivation that GDP ignores. Yet, identifying a vulnerability is not the same as neutralizing it. A well-being index can track the erosion of natural capital without having the structural power to halt the extraction. In this sense, measurement is a diagnostic tool, not a legislative one. It describes the current condition of the people, but it does not automatically protect the sovereign wealth required to sustain them. When a nation lacks its own productive base, it relies heavily on external aid, donor programs, and borrowing to fund its social services. But the moment an external shock hits or a funding cycle ends, those human development gains instantly collapse. To solve this, we have to look past the human outcomes and introduce Sovereignomics. This framework asks a more structural question. How is the actual wealth beneath the population's feet being owned, valued, and protected? This brings us to the concept of stock-wealthing. Rather than surviving on temporary financial inputs like aid or raw exports, a nation builds a comprehensive, protected portfolio of natural, institutional, and produced capital that generates sustained domestic value. If an economy doesn't own and process these assets itself, international development programs become an endless cycle of managed relief, never reaching true economic liberation. Better health and education metrics are certainly welcome, but they will always be unstable until the underlying sovereign asset structure is completely domestic, fiercely protected, and locally transformed. Sovereignomics positions human well-being as the moral objective of development, while identifying sovereign assets as the engine that makes that well-being durable. It provides the architectural support for the human standard. On the left is visible progress, temporary statistical spikes funded by debt. On the right is anchored progress, a system built into bedrock sovereign assets. To achieve this, we must prioritize legacy wealth. The economy shifts from chasing immediate results to ensuring intergenerational survival. A nation cannot build modern infrastructure or expand social programs by recklessly liquidating the very soil, water, and minerals its future citizens will desperately need. The ultimate moral test of an economy asks two distinct questions. We must ask how well today's citizens are living, but more importantly, we must ask what critical assets they are leaving behind to secure the dignity of tomorrow.